Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. It is the 13th, Friday the 13th of July 2018. Not unlucky for me because I was born on Friday the 13th, but in June 1975. Just a few things to go through. First is PIP. Is it PIP? The claims, the insurance claims. They're still phoning me. They previously phoned me to make sure that, just to ask you, did you get the form? And I said, yeah, I got the form. Okay, that's all we wanted to know. Okay, fine. But they phoned me again this week and they said, you've got the form, yeah? And they said, yeah. And they said, do you think you'll be able to fill it in by next week? And I think I said, I'm going to fill it in soon. And then she said, do you think you'll be able to get it filled in by next week? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's a bit rude, isn't it? Who are you to tell me when to fill it in? It's up to me if I want to fill it in or not. But there's so much pressure to fill it in because they're going to get their, I assume, 30% compensation. Well, not compensation, what was it? Because they're doing the work. They get 30% of this free money, So that's why they're phoning me so many times, because for them this is just filling out a bit of paperwork and posting off probably a generic piece of paperwork, and then they get 30% of whatever I get. But it's interesting, like when it comes to Virgin Atlantic and Travel Unravel, it's been 2 weeks since they phoned us and asked us, they didn't explain anything, they just said, can you send my daughter's passport, which we did, and they were like, really urgent, it's really urgent, but whenever we want things from them, they leave us waiting and waiting. But they expect us to be really quickly, we need to do it quickly, someone's waiting for this. Well, you don't think I'm waiting for your bloody response? So, since doing that, and we don't even know why they wanted the passport, I assume it's to make sure the name was typed correctly, or maybe it's to put in the system. I don't know what it's for, because they didn't bother to explain it. So we sent it to them, and now we haven't heard anything. They received it, because I made sure that I got a receipt from them saying they received it, and they haven't bothered to update us on what that was all about, or whether it's been done now. When I check the booking reference, it still has the same name it had before, so I'm expecting that we'll end up having to call the customer, has to call to find out what's happened, and they'll probably say, we haven't had any response yet. So you've just been sitting there waiting for us to call you. But it's interesting, that's what I'm trying to show you, that when the deal's been done, they don't care about you. But if the deal hasn't been done, they'll keep phoning you. Like I'm getting phoned for this PIP thing. Says it all, really, doesn't it? The other thing is Donald Trump. Obviously, he's in the UK at the moment since yesterday, hiding away in secret. They've cordoned off areas, closed roads. I mean, so he can't be seen with the protests. I don't know really what it's going to achieve, because you can see the protest anyway. People are protesting. It just makes it, it looks like a secret visit. But it speaks volumes in two ways. In the way that, it shows his unpopularity, that he has to be cordoned off, even if you don't see the protests. And the second way, it shows the difference between those in power and us. Because all these people are protesting about it, but it doesn't care to Theresa May and the Queen and this, that and the other. They will allow him in, they will protect him, they will put him in, cordon off areas, close our roads, let him come and see our buildings that we pay for, that they live in, see our country. Doesn't matter what we want. But that just goes to show you the divide between those in power and us. Because they can do whatever they want. If they want to close roads, they can do it. If they want to go to Blenheim Palace, they can do it. If they want to put a big brass band, cost £10 million in security, they can do it. We wouldn't be able to do any of those things, and yet we elect them, we put them there. They're meant to be serving us. So they're not really serving us, they're serving themselves. They may say that, no, by doing this they're serving us because they're going to generate capital and deals and things, but they're just greasing their own pockets and making themselves look good. They don't care what we feel or think. But that just illustrates it there. You can see that divide between, we're not happy about Donald Trump, any right person, even Theresa May, I don't think she's really happy about him, but look at how they can do things whenever they want to do things. The divide, and the other thing is the media. It's very, I'm sure, I did see some on BBC, I didn't think the BBC would show the protests, but you can see the questioning, they're talking to them like, why are you protesting, and sort of, when they're reviewing it, they're sort of, even on Sky News, they were saying, oh well, he's an American president, why are we bothering to protest, it's got nothing to do with us, he's democratically elected. That's another thing they like to keep saying, as if, well, we shouldn't protest then, we shouldn't have a view because he's an American, so, if it's just so stupid, the whole point of protest. It doesn't matter where he comes from, he has influence over us all. His policies can shape European policies, can shape UK policies. We're shaking his hands, we're doing deals with him, so it does matter. He's the most, in the terms of this world that we live in, the most powerful man on the planet. That's what they say, isn't it? And so, we can't have a voice about that. They're like questioning us, not us, questioning those protesting, but, what's it got to do with you, basically? He's an American, it's got nothing to do with you. Why are you bothering? They're trying to devalue it by doing it that way, rather than actually acknowledging, why they're protesting, which they have very valid things. He said a lot of things that are, that are quite distasteful to the least. And the last thing is Beyond the Imaginary Curve. It was back on, luckily, and Dale was talking about a really interesting thing about pulling and pushing. And it just goes to show you another one of these lies in plain sight. He was showing a YouTube video where it was obviously aimed at children, and it was showing the difference between a woman pushing a girl on swings, and pulling back. Before letting go, and then the swings off, and also pushing a box out of a room. And then he was explaining that there's only actually one force, it's pushing, because when obviously pushing the box, that's easy. The pulling bit, when you pull, you're gripping your hand around, and the pressure is you're pushing with your fingers to push towards you. So it's just a different way of describing pushing. I found that really, really interesting, and I was trying it like with my cup. I was seeing, I have to put my fingers around the cup to push, to pull it towards me, to push it, but I'm actually pushing it. And yeah, it is correct that a lot of what we describe as pulling is actually pushing. And obviously he was trying to do it within, to show the idea that, well, if there is no such thing, then how does gravity work? So that's pulling. But then I know there's compasses and that works on things. But then when I was Googling it, I found out that it was saying about like the fingers, because he was saying the fingers grip round and push, but the fingers, the muscles, they pull one another. And I've asked him that question, so I don't know, maybe there's something I haven't seen, because he's the one who came up with the idea, but it's really, really interesting how even if the hands do pull, maybe it's a different way of seeing the forces, but the fact is that we do teach children incorrectly that we're pulling things, whereas we're not really pulling things, we're pushing things. So it still stands what he says. It's just there may be some bits of pulling that are there, but it just goes to show you how even the things we teach have some form of fallacy in them. I mean, how's that possible that we could be teaching millions of children throughout time of these concepts of pulling and pushing, and a lot of the time it's just pushing, but it seems like it's pulling because we have a word for that. Amazing, really, to think that I'm now 43, and now I've just learnt that. That shows you the power of YouTube, it shows you the power of the mind, it shows the fact that we can, I could believe in that there's pulling and pushing, in Talpi there's pulling and pushing, not realise it didn't exist, because I believe what I was taught. Check it out, it's on Beyond the Imaginary Curve live on YouTube. Anyway, take care, take it easy, God bless and peace.